Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Today's guest is Joe. You might remember him as Closet Geek. Joe went through every reseller's nightmare and lost his eBay account. He's worked hard to rebuild, restart, and reinvent himself. And he's back. And we're going to hear about his story next. Hey, I'm Car Boot Chris. I'm a full-time UK online reseller. I operate mainly on eBay and also Whatnot, but also some other platforms as well. I'm going to bring you regular podcasts all about reselling, hopefully to keep you company, to entertain, or maybe to educate, who knows. Welcome to the Everything Reselling Podcast. Good afternoon, everybody. It's Series 4, Episode 9 of the podcast. I appreciate you being here and taking the time to watch live, or if you're listening back on Spotify, Apple Music, and all the other channels, thank you so much for listening back and even downloading the podcast. It's a real help to the series. Very much appreciated. Another help to the series is Reseller, who are sponsoring Series 4. I really appreciate their assistance. It's not free to host this stuff. It's not free to do it for me when I'm organizing the show and stuff. So I appreciate Reseller coming in and sponsoring this series. And I use them myself, so there's no better recommendation than that. But here's a few words about how that works. If you're anything like me as a reseller, you're probably always looking at ways to make more money, to cross-list to different platforms, and to basically sell your stuff a little bit smarter. That's where Reseller comes in. It's a built-in browser plugin that helps you to cross-list to different platforms, both in the UK and the US. I've tried a few different products like this, you know that, and this one actually is a bit of a game changer. It's an all-in-one sort of tool. You can also use their growth bots for Depop and Vinted in the UK and Poshmark as well in the US. You can relist items, you can bulk edit listings, which is pretty much unheard of on platforms at the moment. You can also send out offers and a lot more. If you do want to sign up, there's a link in the YouTube description and a link in the podcast description. It's an affiliate link, so I do earn a little bit off it, but you get a discount off your first month and you get access to an amazing tool. Well, thank you to Reseller. Right, for those who don't know me, I'm Car Boot Chris. I'm a full-time reseller. I operate on eBay, but also Whatnot and now Vinted Pro as well. So 3 platforms for me, and that is it. I don't operate anywhere else. That's my full-time job. It's what I do for a living. I'm also on YouTube, as you can see right now. We've got this podcast, so it's all good. And we bring on all different guests each week. And this week, we've got a really interesting chat to have with Joe. We're going to bring him on. You might know him as Closet Geek. Hi, Joe.
All right.
How are you, mate?
Not too bad. How are you?
Thanks so much for coming on. I really do appreciate taking the time to do this with us.
That's all right. First live in, I don't know, 2 years.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It certainly has. Do you want to give yourself an introduction to everybody watching and listening? Hello,
everyone. My name is Joe. I was the Closet Geek when I ran a YouTube channel back in the day, selling on eBay. Now I am the furniture store. We're running a furniture shop from a warehouse, and we're just trying to give it a go, reselling and getting back to our former glory. I recognise most of the people from the chat. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you all again.
Yep, good to see some old faces, eh?
I've got the chat up on my phone as well, so I can see that there.
Let's start, Joe. Let's take you back, because let's go back to the time when you were Closet Geek on eBay, YouTube. What kind of stuff did you sell back then?
Everything. When I first started, obviously it was just before lockdown. It was probably like a year before lockdown. And
about like 2019-ish,
2020. Yeah, pretty much. And I was doing video games, pretty much a very saturated market back then, still is saturated now. But obviously with lockdown, it boomed, and it
went crazy, didn't it?
Yeah, it did really go crazy. And I obviously had a few ideas of how to get products during lockdown without actually breaking the rules. Sending taxis round to go pick up PlayStation bundles and Wii bundles and stuff like
Hang
that.
on a
And
minute.
getting people...
You sent a taxi to get a bundle? What, like
That
on
was
Facebook
quite often.
Marketplace?
Yeah, that's quite often. It was a door drop
Wow.
off. Somebody had put it outside their door. I'd transfer them the money. A taxi would drive it and drop it off to my door, and I'd transfer him the money.
That's
So yeah,
genius, I
I
have to
did that.
say. I've
I
never
did
heard
that
of
quite a
anybody
lot.
doing that. Never, ever.
That one was probably my best one, because obviously a lot of people were skeptical about selling their stuff on Facebook over the lockdown.
Yeah.
And I just said, all you need to do is, once you've received payment, I never sent payment until they sent me their address. As soon as they sent me their address, I was like, right, what's your bank details? I'll send you across the payment. I'm going to send taxi over, and they're going to pick up from your door. We did that like quite a few times. We made quite a lot of money doing that, because it was just Wii bundles, PlayStation bundles that people were selling on Facebook Marketplace. And obviously people weren't going to pick it up because it was lockdown, but on eBay it was selling for silly money. So even though it's underpriced on Facebook, people still weren't buying it.
Yeah. Interesting that. So how was it going business-wise back then, sort of as Closet Geek on eBay? I seem to remember you doing pretty well.
Yeah, we got I think might have been just over 200,000 at our best year's turnover. And
Good.
yeah, and then obviously we were kind of like maintaining that sort of like over 100,000 6-figure VAT registered.
Yeah.
Big boy bollocks, go for it. And then yeah, everything just got thrown into the frying pan. So
you were always very ambitious. I remember that on your videos. You were kind of like, I want to be a big seller. I want to do like £1 million, have £1 million
I think it's
business.
possible. It's
Yeah.
100% possible. I just don't think you can put all of your trust into one platform.
Into one platform. Were you only operating on eBay at that time, or did you operate on other platforms?
No, I only operated on eBay. I did try Etsy. I didn't get on with Etsy. I didn't put much on there. I didn't put much effort into it either. And then I stopped using Etsy. It just wasn't for me. It just wasn't working. It was just a lot to maintain, like keeping track of both. Obviously, like the platform that you were talking about a second ago, if you could get one of that where it's just one app where you can print all your labels from and all of your sales from, and you upload all of the products onto there, and then that automatically put it across, that would be amazing. Like all you need to do is log into that one app, all your messages coming through there, and it will go on everyone. But I found it really difficult to maintain the quantity that I was selling over 2 platforms. Because you've got to remember, we had like 20, 30 items going out a day, and then 50 items being listed a day, like anywhere between 20 and 50. There was one stage I bought a load of Levi jeans. I bought 1,000 Levi jeans, and I got all 1,000 pairs listed in 1 week.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
you have
crazy.
help with that? Did you have staff, or I can't remember? No. Did you have staff or not?
I did have staff back then. That was over in Plymouth when I shared with Stacey. I did have staff back then, but they weren't quick enough to produce that sort of numbers that quickly. So they wasn't on that sort of thing. The staff that I had back then was very much very good at what he did. Is very much a geeky guy who loved Marvel, who loved Star Wars and everything. So I could give him a box of Star Wars figures. He doesn't need to research them. He pulls them out and he goes, "Oh, that's the first edition Boba Fett from whatever it is," and then take a picture and list it. Like, whereas I'm Google imaging all of this. Like, he could get 50 of them done a day. I could get 20 of them done a day.
Yeah.
I could get 120 Levi jeans done a day. He could get 30.
Yeah.
It was just
30 is good. I'd be happy with 30.
Yeah.
100, honest to God, you're listing 100 Levi jeans a day. I mean, that's some going that.
But I just had a template.
Yeah.
And then I just changed the sizes. And then what I do is I put all of the 501s in one stack, all of the boot cuts in another stack, and then just kept going like that. The biggest job was washing it all.
Yeah.
Because obviously that that was a longer process, washing it all.
I guess if you're dealing with that amount of the same kind of thing, if you can get like your processes nailed down like you had done there, then it doesn't take so long.
When you run it like a business and not a hobby, you can make it work. Like, it's up to you what you do. Like, you know, I mean, I was determined to get them done in a week because I had a big backlog of stock that I needed to get listed.
Yeah.
I didn't want to sit on them for too long. I wasn't selling them for a lot of money. I paid 90p each. I sold them for between £10 and £15 a pair. Cheap Levi jeans. A lot of them were too damaged, and we bulk sold a lot of them. But you know, we made good profit on that.
Yeah. Limelight Vinty on the chat here says, I remember Joe never being put off by parceling up large items, even like fireplaces. I remember that stuff.
You haven't seen some of this. I've done I sent sets of four, like people. I'd put sets of 4 chair, and I put it on the global shipping program, and I box the 4 chairs up in 2 parcels and post a set of 4 chairs for the global shipping program. I love that, like, because our chairs, if you get in like Victorian dark wood chairs, Americans love them. I don't know why, but Americans love them. So I was finding all of this dark wood furniture, what people would avoid and people wouldn't deal with. I'd find some ones that are within, I'm not too sure what the parcel force maximum parcel is anymore, but back then it was 150 centimeters tall with a 300 centimeters girth, which is very big. People don't understand how big that is, and up to 30 kilos.
It's like 3 meters.
Yeah, 3 meters around and 1.5 meters tall, and up to 30 kilos. It was crazy. Like, so you can actually pack some really crazy things, like a lot bigger. Us and Stacey sell a leather armchair and post it with parcel force. It fit within the dimensions. I think I convinced him to post it that way because he didn't believe me that it could be done, and it got delivered. You know,
madness. Okay, let's fast forward a bit then. Your business is going well. Yeah, you know, you're sharing it on YouTube, and you know, you had big ambitions. You're turning over a lot, like you said, 200 plus grand turnover, which is impressive in itself.
Yeah.
And then I remember, like, the start of what seemed to be your problems was to do with your VAT number and eBay. Was that where it all started happening?
Oh, I did have an issue with, because obviously after lockdown, a lot of businesses selling online done quite well, but obviously HMRC was all working from home. So waiting for the VAT number was a longer process. I think it took about 4 months for me to get my VAT number. So we're actually closed for 2 months on eBay because of that. But that really wasn't an issue. As soon as the VAT number came, we uploaded the VAT number. eBay were like, thanks for that. Let's crack on.
Oh, it was right. So that wasn't anything to do with it. So
no,
you just
the
managed
VAT
to
number
do
wasn't
that.
an issue. No, I was VAT registered for maybe 2 years before we got suspended.
Right. So
and
what
I
was
suspended because they told me it was a permanent ban, but they've lifted the ban.
What was the first point you knew there was an issue with eBay then? Did they just suddenly shut your account, or what happened?
I tell you, it was a message from Stacey. So Stacey's very, like, he's the hardest working reseller I know, and he'll wake up in the morning at 5 in the morning, and he'll go through he'll go through my listings, he'll go through your listings, he'll go through George Ross's listings and see what everybody else has been doing. And he went onto my eBay and saw that I had nothing listed, and he's contacted me and said, Joe, where's all your items gone? What's happened? So that's the first I heard of it. So I went straight on there. I was like, what's going on? I've had a look, and all of my listings were down. And I didn't have an email or anything like that. There was no messages in the Facebook, not in the Facebook, in the eBay chat. So I went onto a computer. I got into got on a computer, logged on, and then went onto the home screen. And there's a big banner saying, you need to provide some documentation before you continue selling. I was like, oh, okay, it's going to be something like the VAT again. And documentation they wanted was proof of postage. And we're going to go back to the furniture thing now, because obviously a lot of it was the furniture. They goes, we need proof of delivery for these items here. I'm like, well, the companies that I use don't use tracking.
Like couriers.
Yeah, the couriers, they just pick it up and deliver it. But you can see from the feedback that this person here's received it, and here's an email to say that that delivery was confirmed. But I actually ended up, to try and get the eBay account back open, all of the ones in the last 3 months, I think there was only about 5, so it wasn't too much. I just refunded them. So
Okay.
we're talking like 150, 200 pound, like tables, chairs, sofas, everything like this, just to try and get the case closed.
Yeah.
I just refunded them. They've all received their items. They've left me positive feedback because I've contacted them all and said, please can you leave me feedback, whether it's negative or positive. I don't mind as long as it says that you've received the item. That's all I need. And then once I received all of that, I went to eBay. They goes, yeah, that's not enough. So I just refunded them all. And we're talking probably about £1,500 to £2,000 worth of refunds.
Yeah.
Just because I was trying to get my eBay back open.
Yeah, I get
and
that.
After that, after I'd done the refunds, they told me that they're permanently suspending me. So it was a little bit nasty, a little bit dirty, a little bit tricky, that they've turned around to me and said, we need all of these cases closed before you can start selling. There'll be no problems once they're all closed, once they're all done. But there wasn't no cases open. It wasn't a case.
Yeah, it wasn't a case per se. It was
wasn't a case. Yeah, it was
proper account suspension.
Because I was top rated, and I might have had like one case closed against me at this point. And it was just items that were not marked as delivered. And
it seems very, very unfair, and almost like a complete lack of common sense. Like a human sat there just assessing this. Like, okay, these haven't been delivered, or they're not marked. They haven't got the tracking, so they're not marked as delivered. Right. So the feedback's there, so they've got the item. eBay could have even, if they really wanted to, they could have reached out themselves to those buyers and said, how was your experience? That wouldn't have taken much effort, would it?
They do that quite often, because I get that they say, can you provide feedback on this item?
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I'm quite lazy. I don't tend to leave feedback. I just don't do it. I'm just a bit lazy in that point. Like, even when I was on the eBay, I had feedback set to automatic feedback. As soon as I've received positive feedback from them, they automatically get feedback back from me, which is positive.
But it's mad how, if that's the issue, it's just a case of the delivery tracking and stuff. How does that get so serious? I mean, without somebody like properly assessing that and dealing with it. And you've done everything that you can to show that you're a good seller. You've refunded everybody. You've chased up feedback. You've done this and that. But still, the account remains closed. And how long did that go on for?
I think I was collecting all of the evidence and getting everything all together for maybe 2 weeks before they set it to permanent suspension. Johnny here says refunding might have made me look guilty. A scammer would have nothing to lose by refunding. I also provided my YouTube channel as sort of like a base, just to show that I am sending these products out. Look, here's me picking a product.
Yeah.
Here's the product that's packed and it's gone out. Like, so I provided the YouTube channel as sort of like a little bit of confidence that I am doing my job.
Yeah.
I've got the product in hand. I'm not drop shipping. I'm sending the products out.
That. Johnny Forty Coat Sarah said like it might make you look like more guilty, but I think for me, if I was, I'd be like in your shoes, I'd be panicking. I'd be like, I need to get my account back. You know, this is my livelihood.
Yeah,
I'll do anything. I'll do anything possible to get my account back, and if that means refunding, I'll refund them to prove that I'm a good seller. But I kind of understand where Johnny's coming from. But I think I probably would have gone down the same route as you, Joe, with that one.
like at that point, we're turning over 15 grand a month before the eBay fees. We're turning over 15 grand a month on eBay, and 1500 isn't much when you consider the greater picture. Like it's like I've just missed out 2 weeks. I've just missed out on 7.5k. I need to get this back open. That was in my head. I've missed so I paid 1.5k, so I don't lose another 7.5k.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Right.
I totally get that. I really do understand it. So when you saw this full account closure suspended permanently, you know, what's going through your head at that point?
When you get that, you get no assistance from eBay. You call them up.
Yeah,
They
I've
don't.
heard that.
They don't want to speak to you. They try and get you off the phone as quick as they can. They hang up on you. The live chat, they're like, well, we're not dealing with you because you're suspended. I tried going directly to a guy called Jamie, who is the CEO of eBay. He doesn't reply to you. I reached out to a few other people who's had similar issues, and there's some people who pay £400 a month for their shop on eBay. They're turning over like £1 million a month, and throughout my YouTube venture, I've become friends with people that were doing this, and they all got personal reps.
Yeah.
So if you're paying a £400 a month, you get your own rep.
You get a direct contact, don't you?
Yeah. So I was given all of these reps numbers to ring them up and see if they can help. They wouldn't deal with me. Like, just eBay was not helping me at all. They just didn't want to know. They didn't care. Like, it was very hard, very struggle in time to deal with, like, both, like, because we're money in, money out business. I don't sit on money, because you sit on profit, you're going to pay more taxes. Like, so we sink the money back into the business. We buy vans, we buy stock, we buy equipment. Like, very much money in, money out. So we're not sat on a lot of money at any one point. And then something like that happens, then it's sort of like, now you're eating into that little bit you have got.
Yeah.
And that little bit didn't last a long time.
No. What you find with what I've seen with people who have had similar issues to you is that the one common denominator is eBay just seem to refuse to tell you exactly what the issue is, so that you can fix it. It's
I've
like,
only ever
what
seen
exactly
eBay.
is the issue? Has somebody complained about me? If they has, what's the complaint and how can I mend it? How can I fix it?
Yeah. They don't tell you what
They just don't
they
tell you,
won't
do
tell
they?
you what you've done wrong as well. They won't say you've done this wrong. So all I can think is like, and I said it on my channel on my last video, that it could have been a number of things, and we're trying to go through ideas of, like, over the last year and a half since it's been closed, trying to figure out the things that it could have potentially been. And it could have been reporting. I could have been reported by people who didn't enjoy me sharing my journey, didn't enjoy what I was doing. It could have been that. It could have been people that I personally know that dislike me, that's done it as a personal dig. But then I did also do some naughties as well, because I did go onto Fiverr and I paid Fiverr to remove some feedbacks for me.
And you shared this on your new channel, haven't you? Your new
Yeah.
channel.
I didn't
You've
share
already
this
shared
previously, but obviously I'm saying it more of a warning now, like, just in case that was the issue. Don't bother trying it. Just accept your negative feedbacks. Like,
don't try and get them removed by a third party. So do you think that might have been the problem?
It could have been, but obviously they won't tell me.
No. But you see,
But
if they'd have just turned
person I
around and
used,
said, Joe, we've seen that you've used a third party to try and get this feedback removed. That's against our terms. And, you know, you can hold your hand up and say, I'm sorry, I didn't know. you know, I'll take a wrap, I'll take a 2-week suspension or whatever, you know, I'll take whatever's coming to me. I hold my hands up, and then you can try and move on. But you don't get that opportunity to understand the problem. That's what I see, like people who have had their accounts suspended or closed even. That always seems to be the common thing, is you don't get that opportunity to put it right.
Which is why I think it wasn't that. I don't feel like it was that, because I feel like you would have got a warning for that. I feel like it's something that was repetitive, something that's happened over and over again. Like somebody reported me, as I said before. Somebody reported me today, they've reported me tomorrow, reported 5 days ago 6 times. If somebody kept reporting me, eBay might have said, do you know what? It's just not worth it.
But if eBay were to say to you, right, we've had a complaint about, you know, you sharing stuff about eBay and what you're doing on YouTube, you'd say, I'm sure you'd turn around and say, look, if that's the real complaint, then I'll not do YouTube anymore and I'll just carry on with eBay, because eBay is your breadwinner, isn't it? YouTube's just your cherry on the top and just sharing your journey and stuff. But
Yeah,
if you had an
eBay was.
opportunity to say, I won't do YouTube, then you would say that, surely, wouldn't you?
I don't think the YouTube was an issue. I found the YouTube very much a motivational thing for me and helps me.
But like you say,
Was,
if it's somebody who's watching, who's like, oh, I'm going to put something in the mix for this guy. I don't like him. I don't
but
like
you
him
would have had
sharing.
more than just me. Like if they were disliking resellers, sharing our journey, it would have been you as well. It would have been Stacey. Yeah. It would have been would have been George Ross. It would have been Nick. Nick Hills.
Yeah.
Could have been anyone.
Darren on YouTube says, genuinely was gutted to see you disappear, Joe. The situation was handled poorly by eBay and it cost you your livelihood for that time. Maybe go to an eBay Open where they can't hang up. That's a point, isn't it? Go face to face with somebody.
You have to be invited to the eBay Opens.
That is true, yeah.
Obviously, then well, in all respects, the eBay account's now available to list on. Like,
okay.
They removed the suspension.
When did they remove it, Joe?
Did I send you the screenshot? Was it you I sent the screenshot to?
How long ago did they lift the suspension on that account?
It's got the date on there. I think it was April. I think it was April they removed it.
So did they say why they decided to lift it?
They said that they no longer have an issue with my VAT or something like that, and keep updated with my VAT. And I'm just thinking, but we didn't have an issue with the VAT.
You solved that problem.
Yeah. Who did I share it to? It might have been Stacey. I sent a screenshot of the email. Because it's but I'm too scared to list on that account now.
Yeah,
in case
I don't blame you. Imagine putting in a load of work on that eBay shop, and then suddenly they decide they're going to shut it again.
Yeah, so I like Facebook now. I know Facebook is a massive pain for a lot of people, and it is. You get 20 messages to one sale. It is what it is. But Facebook, eBay's a pay-to-play platform, really. You got something up there for £100, and if you want to sell it, you're promoting it, maybe 10%. Let's just say you promoted it 10%.
Yeah.
You're walking off with maybe £63, something like 60 to £65. That's what you're walking off with. If you go off and stick that same thing on Facebook Marketplace for £70, somebody's going to come and collect it. They're not going to return it, because you don't have to go by the 30-day distance selling regulations. You just don't have returns. It's second-hand product. They've come and seen it. They've picked it up, sold a scene. You don't have 30 days distance selling regulation to abide by. You're not forced to take a refund. And you're making more money. You're not having to pay the silly fees. But I think Facebook is
It is a bit like the Wild West, though, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Like I love the scammers on there. Like
So many scams.
when they message you saying, "Oh, come pick this up," blah blah blah, whatever it is, I keep them on there for ages. I'll spend an hour, 2 hours, like telling them I don't know what it is they want me to click on. Is it this link here? And then like I'll send them like videos to scat porn or whatever, just because I think it's funny. And I'll just keep them on there for as long as I can until they realise that I'm just messing with them.
Yeah.
Like, I find that wasting their time is just saving another person.
At least by you wasting their time, then maybe they're not got much time to scam somebody else.
Exactly. Yeah, you're just wasting their time so they can't scam somebody else. Because
yeah,
I did have a friend who was scammed the other day on Facebook, and now they've got hold of their account and they're sending like everybody messages. She asked me to borrow 50 quid, so I messaged her on WhatsApp. I was like, "Your Facebook been hacked?" She's like, "Yeah." What, you should tell everyone. Right. You should go around and tell everyone, like, because somebody else might be like you and go off and do it. Yeah.
Going back to the eBay thing, I'm sorry that it happened to you, Joe, because it's not nice. It's like a reseller's worst nightmare, what you went through, seriously. And okay, maybe you made a mistake with the third party removal thing. That might have been it. I don't know, because
the
eBay
thing is, though, it
you.
wasn't third party. Like, I know, like, there's a few comments on here about it being a third party, and that could have. It wasn't a third party. It was an eBay worker.
Oh, right.
It was an eBay worker I was paying to do it.
Okay.
So somebody who works for eBay.
Maybe they got rumbled then.
But to make extra income, they've turned around and started offering their services on Fiverr, which is very naughty. But I don't know if you know how much like they get paid over in Pakistan, but they don't get paid a lot of money.
Not a lot, probably. No.
Not a lot at all. Like, it's like silly money. I know a courier over here in the UK that I quite often use. He's got 2 Filipinos working from in the Philippines, and he's got 3 people in Pakistan working for him. And I know that he pays his people in Pakistan £90 a month. How crazy is that? And they work full time.
Yeah.
So they're in 9 till 5, and they take in £90 a month. I know £90 a month is probably, it might be like £800 a month in their money. I'm not too sure. But regardless,
to us it doesn't sound like a lot, and it's probably essentially it's not a lot. I mean, I know the cost of living is a lot less, but it's still it's not a lot of money, is it?
That extra 20 quid what I'm paying someone to remove a feedback, that's a week's wages for them.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? But it's just somebody who works for eBay that did that. I also used Fiverr to try and reinstate my account. Now, this is an expensive service. So, like, a fair warning to anybody who goes ahead to try this. It works. They do unblock your account, and it cost me £1,500 to get it unblocked.
Ooh.
But they don't. So you'll still be on 0 out of 0 listings. You're not allowed to list still, but you get the messages that come through that say you're no longer restricted. Then you do a request to list more. They're like, you can't request to list more at this time. We're not allowing you to list anymore at this time.
So what would be the benefit of paying for it to come back?
You see, the benefit for it would have been like it was supposed to be unlocked so I can sell, and all of my listings will be put straight back on automatically. That's what I was paying for. And it was half now, half when they were done. They got the half now, and then when they were done, it didn't work.
Right.
So I was like, it's not working. This isn't working. I need that money back because this hasn't worked, and I need to do something getting the money back because it's on Fiverr. I did eventually get my money back, but I'm just saying, if anybody does get suspended and they think
don't do that.
Fiverr's a way out, just don't do it.
Yeah, don't go there.
Even if it wasn't the reason I was banned, even if it wasn't, which it's like a 50-50. It could have been that, could have been some other things, could have been a combination of the both.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know. They won't tell us unless we go to court. I can't afford court.
No.
But
at least you are sort of big enough to be honest about it and come on and say what happened. And if it helps somebody else like not go down that route, then you know that's something. I know it doesn't really help you, but I appreciate your honesty in telling us what's gone on. And you know how did it affect you? Like once you realised that eBay account wasn't coming back, and that was basically everything to you at the time, like personally, like your income, your family, how did that affect you?
well, you kind of saw my downfall a little bit with the YouTube. Like I feel like looking back at it now, it was very obvious. A little bit of a mental breakdown, a little bit of a cry out for help. I'm not too sure, but I started doing videos wearing like masks, and
I remember. I do remember
like
them.
I was like I had things where I wanted to go off and like because you know we know secrets about other resellers. You know, 'cause as a reseller, you watch somebody else's video and you're like, oh, that's cool. Let's go on their eBay account, and you see that their eBay account's a private account and they've got like 20,000 subscribers and they're still running a private account. It's just like you've picked up on things like that. And I was thinking about doing like YouTube videos where I dig into people and just like life isn't fair, so we're gonna mess with everybody else. That's what I was thinking about doing, and because I was in a dark place at a time. I wasn't happy. I was something that I built that you know it was all taken away from me. It was just I felt bitter. I felt angry, and I just went to a dark place. And then like I made one of the videos, not targeting anyone, but kind of like saying this is what I'm going to do. And I watched the video back and I was just like, what are you doing, Joe? And to prevent myself from doing it, prevent myself from being, you know, having a really bad day and just uploading this sort of content, I deleted the YouTube account. The YouTube account. I was just like, I don't want to hurt anyone like what's happened to me. I don't want other people to go through that.
I guess you're just like lashing out initially on like what had gone wrong for you, and I understand
exactly,
that.
Yeah.
But at least you stopped yourself from going down that route, because you just end up like in a circle of hate, don't you? And that's just not good for anybody.
100%. No, it's not good for me. It's not good for like it would have only put me into a worse position. Like I feel like mentally attacking other people would have only put me into a worse position. Like I'm a good thinker. So we tried loads of things to try and get that account going again. It didn't work. So we continued without the account, pushing sales on Facebook, selling off like collections that I don't get much money for. So like Funky Pops, I sold stuff to you.
Yeah, you did. I appreciate that.
As Kieran in the chat, Kieran bought big chunk of the graded Pokemon cards. I just went through this sort of stuff and I bulked a load of it up, and I was just like what we're going to do locally, it's easier to sell furniture. We're going to concentrate on that. So that's what we did. And
did it take you a while to get to the point? So you, after your eBay had gone, you sort of calmed down a bit, and your YouTube, you decided to delete your YouTube to start yourself doing something silly. Did it take you a while to sort of get your head back into the space of reselling and like clearing the decks? It sounds like you were trying to clear the decks of all your old stock. And did it take you a while to get to that?
Trying to clear, because I've always been like on eBay, don't bother niching down to one sort of thing. Don't just be clothes, don't just be furniture, don't just be this, because one day clothes are going to die and you're going to need your Pokemon cards, or one day Pokemon cards are not going to work and you need your furniture.
Yeah,
So
fair enough.
I've always been very much like that, and all I did was I just reduced the amount of categories I was selling on. Like, I don't want to list 100 Funko Pops on Facebook at a tenner each.
Yeah,
Like, that would have taken a long time for not a lot of money. Whereas
yeah,
like I'd list 10 tables at £120 each very quickly.
yeah.
So
So
that was
basically,
my idea.
you now that you weren't going on eBay, you had to kind of change your whole business model to move away from the collectible stuff because, like you said, it's hard work moving that on Facebook.
It's
So
not
then,
hard work moving it on. It's just like Funko Pops, just for instance, like out of 100 Funko Pops, one might be good.
yeah,
People don't understand that. Like, most Funko Pops are worth £3 to £5.
yeah,
Like, that one with a special sticker, which you're not even going to realise is different to another sticker. That one's the one that's worth £100. And I've found those Funko Pops. It's a lot of work. Like, you find a collection of Funko Pops on Facebook Marketplace, you have to research each individual Funko Pop to find if that whole bundle's worth you buying. Whereas
yeah,
you find a table and chairs on Facebook Marketplace, I can look at a table and chair set now and be like, oh, why have they put Urkel chairs with a G plan teak table? It just doesn't match, but I'll sell them separately.
mm,
But I can look at that and say that is this now. Like, I do a little bit of work in a fish and chip shop now, like as my safety net, because I did rebuild a safety net,
yeah.
and
Makes sense.
we've got that. She goes, oh, look at this table and chair set I got for free, and she showed me a picture of this table and chair set, and I just said, oh wow, that's a £300 table, that is. And she goes, actually know that, because that's a G plan, that's a £300 table. And I've just gone straight onto Facebook, look on not Facebook, straight onto eBay, looked on the solds, found the G plan table. I was just like, do you know what? From a picture, I can tell what that is. I'm quite good with furniture. So, and it was selling for about 300 quid. So not only did I get the price right, I got the brand right, and it's a table that I've never dealt with before. It's just a style that I noticed.
Is this why you ended up going down the route of like furniture and looking at a furniture shop? Is it because you were focusing on local sales more than like on eBay? And of course your
100%.
knowledge
Yeah.
that you were building up because you did furniture before anyway. Like with
Yeah.
your
Yeah. Yeah.
collectibles, you did furniture as well. I remember loads of videos where selling great big pieces of furniture alongside a Funko Pop.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I sold everything before. Like like Stacey was selling it all as well. Stacey was doing a lot of furniture as well. Me and Stacey kind of like, we bounced off each other, and we kind of learned from each other when we were in that warehouse for that period of time, and we both grew because of that. And then obviously after we separated, he's blown up. Absolutely so proud of Stacey, because you won't believe how much convincing it took to get him to quit his KFC job and take it on full time. It took a lot of convincing, and
And
then
he's doing
the
very well
hardships
now, isn't
when he hit the VAT bracket, the downfall, what he went through there, like the struggles he went through there. I saw all of that behind closed doors. None of you guys did, and like how that guy's picked himself up from where he was before. Like, I can't think of anybody like more motivating in the reselling. And obviously we're bouncing off each other. I'd learn like these oil lamps and these tables are worth money, and he'd learn that these Pokemon cards and these Funko Pops are worth money. Like, we're both like selling different things, and we both learned what the other people's stuff was, and we kind of
Yeah.
like grown because of that. Like,
You chose furniture in the end, and that's what you're focusing on now. And you've got a YouTube channel now, The Furniture Shop. And I
yeah,
will link it below. I'll link it in the YouTube description, and I'll link it on Apple Music, Spotify. I'll put the links in there for you as well. So if anybody wants to go along and give Joe some support in his building up his new venture as a furniture shop,
it's a brand
how's
new
that
journey.
going? How's it going?
Uh, Facebook videos work. So I'll do a few videos on Facebook, and I think people like to see a face as well. They like to see that somebody's there dealing with you. They're not just seeing me panning over a set of chairs saying, "Oh, these chairs are £100. Come to a Bude Furniture Store." Like I do like a little intro. Let's go through all the bits that we've got. Show you some new bits we've got for sale. I'm getting 10,000 views on videos on YouTube, not on YouTube, but on Facebook. You know, within 24 hours. Didn't ever get it on YouTube, right? And that was just posting it and sharing it on a couple of pages. And the first video I done, I made like 500 quid. Like just on the first video, like people contacted me saying, "Oh, can you drop this off?" I can drop it off if you're local. Nice. If you're if you're away, like, because we'll post it all as well. I've got couriers that come down to me weekly. So people want a wardrobe in Scotland, they'll get the wardrobe.
They can get it.
They'll have to pay the postage, but they'll get it. You know, it doesn't matter where you are in the country, I'll sell it to you. Obviously, with that, though, you do have to abide by the distance selling regulations still. So if I sold something to someone in Scotland and they didn't like it, they have to send it back. But they do have to pay to send it back.
Okay. I said to you before we came on air, I said to you, of all the categories you could settle on, like for me, I think furniture would probably be like one of the last ones on my list, because the perception is that that's really hard to deal with. You got to have a big space to store it in. You got to be willing to post and courier stuff out. You've got to collect stuff. I mean, a lot of the time you might get stuff for free, I would imagine. But it sounds like a really difficult category to sort of work in.
You don't have to sell much, though. You don't have to sell
a few items with high profit.
Like, you can go off and sell 20 Funko Pops today. I'm going to sell a table.
That's
and
true.
I'll still make more money.
Yeah, that is true.
You only need that one sale. Like, I sold a table and chair set yesterday for 300 quid. Like, I only need that one sale. You know, that's a good sale. Furniture, it's great if you got the space, and we got the space.
Yeah, you got a big warehouse there, haven't you?
Yeah, you've still got the same warehouse. I did rent out half of it to another company, but they kind of just left me in the squits, if I'm honest. So I'm kind of like, that's why I've started the shop, is because that space needs to be used, because I have to pay for it now. We started a shop. We've got the insurance sorted out now. We're looking at November opening. So public card machine comes today. So, you know,
that all sounds positive. It sounds like you've got some good plans for the future.
But with furniture, you can buy really cheap. Like, if you go to an auction, like, not everybody's turning up to an auction in a Luton van. We've got a Luton van. I will turn up with the Luton van, and I'll buy every set of table and chairs they've got at like £5 to £10 a set, and then I'll put them up for sale for like £100 to £300 a set. It all depends on what there is, and you know, people just don't want to deal with that. It's too big, it's too bulky, they ain't got space.
Do you find that you get a lot of stuff for free? Like, I see a lot of stuff on Facebook Marketplace, like people saying, right, if you free to the person who can collect first and stuff like that. Do you get that kind of stuff?
Yes, but obviously I know that this is a lot of people will judge you for that. Like, you're getting something for free. I picked up a Parkinol 3-seat recliner chair and matching armchair. I'm going to go pick up the other matching armchair. They contacted me. They put it up on Facebook Marketplace for free, and had like 20 Facebook messages of people messing them about. Like, can you drop it off to us? All of this. The guy is a 70-year-old guy. He just wants to get rid of his sofa and put a new one in.
Right.
Like, so they contacted me and goes, look, we don't want no money for this, but will you come and take this? I said, yeah, 100%. That's an £1,800 brand new sofa. If it was brand new, I'm going to put it in the shop and it will sell quickly. Like, I'll take that. Yeah, I do take that stuff. And I know
you sometimes you think, like you said to me, and I think you said it on the latest video, that people might have a negative view of that you're taking something for free that somebody could utilize, you know, and save a family some money, but you're then reselling it. But you're absolutely right. I watched that video, and what you said in response to that was that by you reselling it, you're actually just putting food on your family's table. So there's
Exactly.
not a
Yeah.
lot of difference, and I totally
There's no
understand that.
difference to somebody who needs a sofa to somebody who needs to pay their bills.
Exactly.
Everybody needs something. And I like,
Of
if
course.
somebody turned around and said, can we get that sofa? And it's on Facebook Marketplace for free. I'm not going to go off and chase for it. Like I tend to get people messaging me, asking me if I'll come get it. And I don't take everything as well. So some people
Yeah.
send me pictures of stuff and I'm just like, no, take that to a tip. But
Have you done house clearances, Joe? Is that something that you've
I
done?
have done house clearances before. Me and Stacey done a house clearance before together, and that was a crazy one. But that was, we paid to do the house clearance. So when we turned up, they said we actually need to pay for a professional house clearance team to come and clear this house. We can't afford it. What can you buy off us? I goes, oh, okay, what do you want us to buy? And they said, these boxes here, and there was about 20 of them. If you buy these boxes at £5 each, you have free reign of the house to buy anything you want. So me and Stacey goes, all right, then we'll do that then. So we've got one for me, one for you. We opened the first box up. It's full of light bulbs. And he's like, I don't want that one. That's yours. I goes, okay, mine, yours, mine, yours, mine, yours. And we split up like that. And when we got back to, we bought a load of other stuff as well, Kindles, TVs, all of these other little bits. But we spent quite a bit of money with the lady. And when we got back, we've got our own boxes. We're going for our boxes. In one of my boxes, I found a gold sovereign.
What?
Yeah, there's one of my £5 boxes. I found a gold sovereign.
How much is that worth?
That sold for £400 almost immediately.
Oh, nice.
I found a Royal Worcester ham. Royal Worcester is quite a common brand. So when I say Royal Worcester, don't get excited when you see Royal Worcester written on the bottom of something. This one was a hand-painted vase. It was about this big, and it had a pheasant painted on it. And I found one that sold for 1,800. I was like, that's crazy. I pull out for 700 with an almost instant sale.
Nice.
So yeah, I'll definitely do house clearances, but I like the style of house clearance we did, where we've gone in, we've bought the stuff, and now they can get another house clearance team to come and get, because I don't have a waste license.
Yeah, exactly.
So I get contacted quite often to see if I do waste clearance. I don't have a waste license. I do have a ticket for myself, but that's for personal stuff. I can't take waste from the warehouse to the skip because I'll get in trouble. I'll get fined. But I've got a little thing that got 12 punches in them a year, and they'll punch a hole in it when you get to a tip, because I've got a Luton van. It's a commercial van, but obviously I can still use it to take my private stuff there. I haven't punched a single one this year though, but we haven't had to get rid of anything.
Fair enough.
But yeah,
question from Disc Traders says, did you manage to sort the rates out on your place?
Nope. Going to court on the 15th of November for that. Yeah, and I'm fighting it as well. So this warehouse is split into two exact same sizes. One side was rateable value was 8,000. My side rateable value was 15,500. Which, if you know anything about rates, £500 over the bracket, that is, you can't apply for small business rates relief, whereas the other company has, which the other company is also a multi-million pound company, but they've still got their small business rates relief. I've been on the VOA, which is the government, because the government and the council, they don't talk to each other. They don't communicate with each other. They're both a pain. I've been onto the VOA and I've put in a claim to say, I think they've got it wrong. They rejected my claim, and now I've got to do something else and provide proof. So, and then at the same time I got that, I got a letter from the council saying we're taking you to court. We're not talking about pennies here. We're talking about £20,000. They're backdating it.
Ooh.
So they want 20 grand off me, and
Crikey.
I don't have 20 grand.
Yeah.
I don't have nowhere near that sort of money. So even if I lose that court case and they force me to pay it, then it's all on the company. The company just goes bankrupt. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, the councils don't win if you go to court and you fight it. Like, we're going to go to court. We're going to take the measurements. We're going to take the valuation from next door and a valuation from this one. And what I think is they valued that one as half a unit and then valued my unit as the whole unit, both of them put together.
Yeah, instead of half in it like that one.
The first
Good luck with that,
is,
Joe. I hope it works. I hope you win that one.
It's not a fun process, that one.
Keep us informed on how you get on, like on your YouTube channel. I'd like to see the results of that.
Video on going to court.
Yeah, that's it.
If I can, I will.
Kate on YouTube, Casey's Hell says, "Why didn't you use eBay shipping? I use eBay shipping for all my orders, and I do as much as you do in a year." But some of the stuff you were shipping was huge pieces of furniture, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're talking wardrobes, like, 50 kilos.
I don't think you can do that through eBay shipping, can you?
They now have like a furniture shipping company, like with eBay, I believe. Stacey's messaged me about it. I'm not too sure. I don't know much about it because obviously I haven't been using eBay to sell furniture, so
yeah,
I don't know anything much about that. But yeah, the courier services I was using, like Shipley, like I'm sure you all know Shipley. I've made a few contacts through Shipley, and I use certain couriers that I like and certain couriers that I work with, and yeah, I just stick to them because if I go directly to them, it's cheaper than Shipley.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the tracking, obviously, I don't know if you guys know of a tracking service called TrackPod.
No, not heard of that.
Track Proof of Delivery Pod.
Okay.
TrackPod. So when I use a courier service, they'll use something called TrackPod.
Right.
And once they've picked it up from me, you could go onto your phone. You'll get an email, and you could go onto your phone as a customer who's bought this wardrobe. You could go onto your email, click on the link, and you can follow the journey of the wardrobe coming to you. So they might go home for 3 days before they come to you. You can watch them at their home. You can't obviously watch it, but you can track them because they're at home. Like, and then it will say like your delivery is on its way to you. You're the next stop. And you go on there and you can see it's a 5-hour journey for them to get to me. They're going to be here between this time. It's a great service. I love TrackPod.
That sounds really useful. That
like customers, I love it. They love being able to see their item on the move.
That's great.
I actually do.
Cool.
I actually do courier service in the Southwest as well. So one of the courier companies I use, once a week, I go around the Southwest in the Luton van. I'll load it up with all of the products that he's got booked in to be picked up. They'll come to my warehouse and he'll come to me and pick that all up and then go off. Obviously, my orders go with that, and my orders are cheaper because I do that.
Right.
And I also get 35% if I brought the customer on. So if, let's just say you start using them and I'm picking up from you, I'll get 45% of whatever the set. So if you paid £100, I'll get 45 quid.
Yeah. Cool.
So, yeah, that's all right.
All right. So, Joe, you're back on YouTube with your new YouTube channel. Did it ever cross your mind to, I know it's too late now because you've already done it, but do you ever think back to your previous channel and think, I wish I'd have kept it and then carried on the journey?
No, like the discussion we had earlier, like my mental health was
Just
on the
weren't
decline.
in the right place where you had to keep hold of it.
Like, not so much that, it's just like any given day I could have had like an impulse to upload a video that would not have been helpful or not been useful to anyone. It would have just been a vindictive, horrible thing to do. Any point of the day I could have done that, and I just didn't want that. Plus, like, although we're talking a lot about the eBay now, you've called me on for the eBay. That's what I've come on so we could chat about my experience with it. Like, my new YouTube channel is a new journey. It's not going to be any like online sales. It's not going to be any of it. It's going to be a shop.
All about your furniture shop.
We're not going to be. I bought this item for 10. I've sold it for 200 quid. I'm going to show you the products that I've got. I'm going to show you like the quality of them and how much I think I can get for it. But I'm not going to go off and like show off that I'm selling £10 items for £200. I was going to show you it, let you have your idea on what the product is, and like tell you what we've been selling. And yeah, but we're going in a little bit of a different direction. It's a completely new journey, completely separate to my previous journey, and that's why it's very important to get a new YouTube channel for it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And I totally wish you all the best, because you've been through the mill, and hopefully you'll come out the other side and you'll be back up where you were before. Elaine Park says, glad you're in a better place, Joe. And
I can definitely tell you that I'm not in a better place, but we're dealing with it better.
Well, you're in a better place than where you were a few months ago when it all went downhill.
When it first started.
Yeah,
like
better than there.
Like financially, no, but mentally, I'd say yeah, just dealing with it all a lot better.
Tea Cake says everything happens for a reason. Your path might be changing, but it doesn't need to alter your destination. Keep pushing forward. You can still reach your goals.
Thank you. Yeah, we're definitely just more family motivated now, more than
I don't blame
business
you.
motivated.
Yeah. Let's move on to the last three questions, Joe. I always ask these three questions to everybody who comes on. The first one is, have you got any reseller words of wisdom, or a quote, a mantra, a tip? Any words of wisdom for any resellers out there?
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Just don't do it. Like, although you could put a lot of time and effort into one basket and not into one egg, but just don't put all your eggs in one basket. Build different things that you can do. Like at the minute, I'm doing man and van work. I do house movals. I do working working for somebody else. I do house clearances. We do furniture sales. YouTube. We've got loads of things we can go off, and if one of them's not performing, another one might be.
Yeah.
We're not doing silly money that we were doing before, but just don't trust eBay.
You have to start somewhere, though, don't you? You're starting a new venture and you're building 100%. It from scratch. So you have to start somewhere. You're not going to be 200 grand from the word go like you were before.
No.
You got to build to that, and it will take your time. Tap Peddler Derek says the same thing. Don't have all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, especially
multiple income streams is there's a lot to be said for it, to have multiple income streams, even if they're just small ones. It's better than just having everything in one.
Yeah. Consistency as well.
Emsden said, good luck on your new journey, Joe. All the best to you, and we will go sub your new channel.
Thank you.
The next question I've got for you is, can you share your best or an unusual sale? It could be from a previous life or from your current furniture.
Oh, let's have a, I was trying to think of something that we haven't shared. Prosthetic legs. There's a collector's market for prosthetic legs.
Really? I did not know this.
And there's good money in it as well.
A collector's market, as in people buy them not to wear them?
Yeah.
What do they do? Hang them on the walls and stuff?
I don't know what they do with them. I didn't ask them. I'm not going to ask them.
Right.
So
have you made a good sale on prosthetic legs?
Yeah, I've sold some I've had about three prosthetic legs in my overall career. I think they all went to America. Not one of them was a prosthetic leg. One of them was a leg brace from World War II, where you split your shin or something, or your leg snaps and it stretches your leg, but it's a brace with a foot on the bottom of it.
Right.
But regardless, the weirder the thing is, the more likely someone's going to buy it.
Yeah.
I bought that from scrap yards just for a laugh.
Crazy.
Do you know what I mean?
Crazy. Tommy Trays just says here, I'm all in for multiple income streams, but only in balance. No point struggling to run two businesses poorly when you could run one business well. I think what we're more talking about, Tommy, I mean, the where I'm coming from in multiple income streams is multiple income streams within your business, not
Yeah,
multiple businesses. I wouldn't stretch to that. There's no way I'm setting up multiple businesses. But for me, like eBay, Vinted, whatnot, YouTube, and a few others, that they're all multiple income streams. But that's all my business. That's one business. That's Car Boot Chris Enterprises. That's one business. Not separate. I don't separate them all out. You know what I mean?
I did build two separate businesses because I did go on and Kieran over at Rummage Round and Sam over at Sam Sell Stuff. They run this Discord thing where they help
Yeah.
you with like Amazon. And shortly after the eBay incident, we tried Amazon, but I wanted to try it as a new platform instead of start from scratch. I bought somebody else's business. You still there, Chris? Oh, you
Yeah.
are.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm listening.
I bought somebody else's business, which come as a limited company. I thought that would be a better way of dealing with it, and I thought that would be a way of not having to pay VAT from the
Okay.
start. My accountant wouldn't allow that. He said no, like if you didn't pay VAT, then it's VAT avoidance and it's illegal. So
Right.
we had to register for VAT anyway.
Yeah.
But I tried that. You know, I put a bit too much money into it and didn't get enough out of it, so I stopped.
I
Yeah,
couldn't run.
but
I couldn't run more than one business. I've got enough going on
but
as it
now,
is.
yeah, we've put that one as a dormant company now, so we don't
Right.
do anything with that one. But yeah, when multiple businesses, I feel like if you could connect them all like a jigsaw puzzle, it'll work. So we've got the furniture selling business, we've got the courier business. They're both interlock. Do you know what I mean? And then we've got the house move business that interlocks with the courier business because we can move somebody's house.
Yeah.
I feel like they're all just it's just a jigsaw puzzle, and you just gotta concentrate on your time. That's all.
I know. I know what you're saying.
I feel
Last
like
question. Go on.
the house moves is good money. Like I did the last bit of one this morning, and that's like £75 an hour, and that was a 3 hour job there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it all
That's
goes through the
decent.
same business.
I know how expensive house moves are. Bloody hell, I've moved 3 times in 4 years. Freaking
I'll
hell.
tell you one thing. I could have probably saved you so much money. Like some people down here, like one of my friends who's moved from London to Bude, they paid 7 grand for their move. I was like, well, how many Lutons was it? And he goes, oh no, it's just one Luton full. I was like, well, how many days did that take? Because well, they filled up one day and they delivered it the next day. I was, oh, I could have done that so much better for you because I do a £400 day booking. I would have done it in 2 days, £800. It's crazy how much these actual house removal companies charge.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's
I can't
silly.
remember what we paid to come from Torquay to North Wales, but we did shop around a lot and we got a pretty good price in the end. I can't remember how much it was, but we had one of these huge. We had a
7.5
huge
ton.
van. It was a sleeper, so they could sleep in the top of it. It was massive. I can't remember what we paid, but I think it was around sort of £3 or something. But it was a 3 day. It was like a 3 day move. They filled up, they drove up, they slept over, they unloaded, they slept over, they unloaded, and drove back. So it's like a 3 day move, and I think there was like 4 staff members doing it.
I can tell we've done a house move from one end of Bude to a place which was about 10 miles outside of Bude. And there was a 2 bedroom house move. The whole house, everything was moved within 2 hours, and we'd done the whole job within 2 hours. And they paid 150 quid. And the next lowest quote to us was 700. That's how much.
We got quotes up to 10 grand to move up here. And in the end, we went with a very reputable company down in Torquay, like a local company. I can't remember the name of them, but and you know, they provided a reasonable quote. But some people were quoting us silly money. Sometimes you get the impression that they give you a high quote because they don't really want the job. You know.
Yeah, 100%. And then if you take it, then it's we've got the
At
job,
least
but
we've
we've got
got
a
good
lot more
money for
money.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do
Last
that.
question.
I do that sometimes as well.
Yeah,
Like,
I guess, yeah. Rather than not quote at all, at least quote. If I'm gonna do it, I might as well make it worth my while.
But I don't do a silly high quote. Like I'd always do a quote which is reasonable, which always tends to be like half the next lowest quote. So I always end up getting it anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. Last question for you is, what's your goal, or have you got a goal for the next year? I would imagine you have one.
With business, I just want it to provide for like my wages. That's all I really want. Is I just want a wage without having to take a job. That's all I want with my business now. Like with family is like I just want to spend more time with my wife. To be honest with you, I don't think I've put enough time in with my wife over last year. Like, and I just want to build our bond and make it stronger. Yeah, I feel like I've got more family goals than I do business goals at the moment.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, that sounds good. I think a lot of people can focus too much on achieving big numbers, which is fine if that's your goal, but then you forget about other things sometimes.
Yeah, and I feel like
this happening to you, this whole thing with eBay, losing your previous Closet Geek business and that, has it put things into perspective for you a little bit?
No, it just showed me who's always been there for me and who's always had my back, like, and who's looked after me, and like it doesn't matter like what struggles I'm going through, like they're there with me with the journey, and they're there to support me, and it's not the people you think. Like, there's my wife is amazing. Like this is the second really really big struggle that I went through since being with my wife, and like the amount of support that she's given me throughout the whole thing. Like I feel like I haven't finally with her enough, and I need to put more effort in there. Yeah, I definitely do.
Yeah, makes sense. Good on you.
She's the only consistent thing like that's like looked after me and helped me out. So yeah, I think. Do you know what? I'd give all of this up and take a job where we can just both work together and just have a decent wage and stay at home. I'll do that.
You never know, if your furniture business takes off, maybe you could work together.
Somebody come along today and offer me 10 grand for everything I've got, like the vans, the stock, like the lease for the warehouse. It's theirs, mate. It's all theirs. It's their problem now. I don't want it anymore. Like as far as like ease wise, it's because it's something I have built, but it's something which is why I've come back to the YouTube, was to try and find my motivation, my love back for it. But something I've lost motivation and love for, like with how not difficult it is, but how much time and much effort you actually have to put. People don't understand how hard it is to do our job. Like people watch our job because I just bought something and sold it for more. It's
exactly.
not that. Like dealing with the government, dealing with the council, dealing with eBay, dealing with customers, all of this, it really does build up, and there's a lot of negativity in our industry. Like it's great that you can buy something for a tenner instead of 100. Fantastic. Is it worth all of that emotional distress? Sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
And at the minute, like it's not. But
early days. You got to keep going.
Exactly.
You've got to keep going, keep pushing, and remember what you're doing it for. It's for your family and your wife, and to enjoy your time together and pay your bills, and you'll get there. I'm absolutely sure that you will get there, because we followed your journey before. You've done it once. You can do it again, and this time hopefully it'll be even better than last time. That's the way you got to look at it, and that's the way I would be going if I were you. Easier said than done, I know, but
just don't grow too quick.
You can do it. you can do it. Yeah, not so quick. Just slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race.
And keep your overheads down as well. Keep your overheads down, because obviously once we did fall, we still had the full whack of the overheads with the VAT and the big warehouse rent, and because I haven't had my license for a long time, the van insurance is expensive, and everything, internet for here, mobile phones for the business, everything, all of these overheads, which I've been they were fine back when we were doing 15 grand a month.
Yeah.
They're not fine when you're doing 4 grand a month.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
But you're going to be fine. I've got every confidence in it. You're not going to fall. You're going to be all right. You're going to keep working and work hard, and that's what you do. So thank you, Joe, for coming on. I really, really appreciate all your honesty. I wish you all the best with the furniture shop and whatever other activities you decide to do, and your new YouTube channel. I hope that goes well. I'll be following it. Hopefully everybody in the chat will go follow the furniture shop. I will put a link in the description below. Go and join Joe. Give him some encouragement and help him along his way, and give him some positivity is what we need. And thank you very much for coming on. Really do appreciate it. And is there any other channels or anything that you want to share with anybody watching, or is it mainly just your YouTube?
To be honest, yeah, the YouTube is just a journey. I don't mind if people subscribe. I don't mind how many subscribers it's got. It's just a journey for me, and it's just something to help me motivate myself. If you want to follow a journey, feel free to, but don't feel pressured to do it. It's all cool, man. Yeah.
And also a big thank you to Accelerator, who has sponsored this series of podcasts. We're coming to the end of series 4. There's one more episode next week, and then we're taking a break. Next week we have a reselling power couple from Australia. 2 Aussie thrifters are coming on. If anybody subs to 2 Aussie thrifters, Brad and Jazz, they're going to come on next week. That's going to be very interesting. So please tune into that one. And we are done for today. Thank you to everybody watching here on YouTube. And if you're listening back on Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer, and all the other channels where you can find this audio podcast, really do appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that download button. We are done. Thank you all again. Thanks again, Joe.
Thank you.
Cheers and good luck. Stay in contact. If you need anything, you can give me a shout.
No worries. Thank you, everybody, for joining the chat. I hope really my journey is a lesson for all of you guys, and you learn something from it. As opposed, there are positives in it. It's not all negative, and I hope that you guys just stay safe. Yeah. Be careful. Look after yourselves.
Thank you again. Cheers, Joe.
Cheers, then. Bye.
That's it for today's episode of the Everything Reselling podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, to follow, or to subscribe wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see you on the next episode.